Hi, this is Marcus Guiliano from HealthyChefDude.com or HealthConsciousFood.com. Today I want to talk to you about ways you can make an environmental impact when you go out to eat at restaurants. Now, of course, it would be great if you can go eat at a restaurant that's green and eat green food all the time, but realistically that doesn't happen. There aren't many of us out there doing that kind of food. But here's what makes a huge difference. If you go out to a restaurant and you get leftover food, and let's face it, a lot of people choose restaurants because they get big portions and they know they're going to get dinner and lunch the next day because it's a work day and it's easy just to pack a lunch you had made the night before. But then some people just take leftovers and they never even consume them. They just go put them in the refrigerator and they throw them away after a couple of days or a week, So here's the two issues. The issues are really wasting food that takes all this energy to put into that you're not consuming. If you're consuming it, no problem. But here's really the main deal with this. How many times you go to a place and they give you a styrofoam to-go container? These drive me crazy. I'd rather not take my food home. I'd rather say, you know what, keep your styrofoam container. I'd rather throw the food out now than to take this, which is never going to decompose. Some restaurants are getting smart and they are doing alternatives to styrofoams, but a lot, because these things are dirt cheap. These things are a third of the price of stuff that you can actually eat or biodegradable or that can compost. So styrofoam versus something that can compost. These are three times the price. So restaurants are still all over these because of price. Okay? So again, I'd rather not use this, throw out my food at the restaurant, say, you know what, I realize that there's been a lot of production going into the food, the oil, the water, all this kind of stuff, and say, I'll cut the losses now at the environment, than to take this home and then have to throw this out somewhere, try to dispose this, which is never going to decompose. Out in the Pacific there, in the ocean, there's thousands and thousands of miles of all these plastic particles and things that do not decompose. They're just sitting out in the ocean there. It's mixing with the plankton and the synthetic estrogen mimics in there, and all this other stuff is just not good for our environment. The fish are eating more. I've been reading reports and seeing this stuff. The fish are eating more plastic than they're eating phytoplankton in their diet because of stuff like this. So what do you do if the restaurant has these, doesn't have these, and you do have food over? You know what? People do it at my restaurant all the time. Bring in your own container, stick it in the car. This is a big container. I just pulled this out of another storage room here, but they have smaller containers. You have containers like this at home. Take a container, bring it out with you to a restaurant. Keep it in your car. If you're going to have leftover food, go to the car and grab it. People understand. We understand when people do that. I'm thankful when people do that. Sure, maybe they didn't know I had these at my restaurant, but we do have these. So the idea is to really make an impact with whatever way you can. I want to be able to show you guys how to do that, whether it's through your diet or whether it's through simple things like this, or bring your own to-go container. This is a no-brainer. Take your own to-go container. These come now insulated. They can come in packs that are insulated. So if you're getting cold food or hot food and you're traveling somewhere, how many times you take your to-go food in a container, you stick it in your car, and a day later you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot my to-go food. Now it's no good. These come insulated. That solves that problem. So to-go containers, it's a big issue. Make sure you're taking your food out in the right to-go container. You are what you eat, and you are, want to be able to limit your waste here. So you can find me at HealthyChefDude.com with all kinds of tips on eating, going out to restaurants, because I want you to be able to enjoy restaurants. I own a restaurant. I love going out to eat at restaurants. But when you go out, you need to be responsible. And if the restaurant operator is not willing to take the proper steps, then you have to leave it upon yourself to do and try to make the best choices possible. Until next time, HealthyChefDude.com or HealthConsciousFood.com.